This is going to be the second game with the Lilith deck. I think I'm going to just do the second and third game together, just because I don't want to be uploading all kinds of videos and bothering everyone. Now, I really want a 2-drop on turn 1. You want to be able to control or contest the mana tiles. So I'm just mulliganing for my later game cards to try to get some early game. Now, I play the Primus Fist because it's not as easily killed as the Blood Siren. It is a 2-3 instead of a 3-2, and I'd like to be able to use it to trade. So I'm just going to play that out. It often doesn't matter, but it's I usually play 2-3s as opposed to a 3-2 on turn 1 if I can help it. Here I'm just going to develop the Shadow Watcher because I know I can get 3 minions to die this turn. So having a 5-5 is huge. Now, Shadow Watcher is not very good against Vanar because they have the card Chromatic Hold, which will dispel it, making it a 2-2 and do 2 damage. So it just kills it outright for 2 mana. And I know that, and that's unfortunate. And I believe that's what happens here, actually. But you can't not play your cards. And we have so many dispel targets in this deck with the Blood Moon Priestess and the Shadow Dancer that sometimes you just have to take the chance that if they don't have it, we're going to be very ahead. And if they do have it, then we still have a chance to continue the game. It's not a game-losing play. It's 1 card for 1 card. We lose a little bit of tempo, but sometimes that's the situation you're in. So I move here so I can just develop some Wraithlings with Blood Moon Priestess, because now if she starts killing my Wraithlings, I'm going to be able to get them back, so it's difficult for her to clear my board right now, unless she can kill the Priestess with a Cryogenesis, but that uses a lot of her mana. So I think this is my most effective play. When she kills that, I just get another one, and she could choose to trade here, but I would just get another one, and all it would do is damage her. She plays the Young Flamewing, which is flying, and threatens both my General and my Blood Moon Priestess. I can't kill it. I have 0 ways to kill it right now. That's the benefit of flying. You can place it out of reach. So instead I just choose to develop my board as much as possible. I'm going to try to get as much value as the Blood Moon Priestess by making trades into this War Master. Don't be afraid to use your General's face as well, which I think you'll see here. I probably want to be playing this Blood Siren, and it's not going to save any of my Wraithlings, so I'm just going to use it to save 2 damage off of my General. So sometimes that's all you get out of it, but you know, you can't always get the maximum value out of your cards. You can't be afraid to just play cards to get things on the board. And I move my General away from the column that everything else is on, even though she can't cast it this turn. I just don't want to be stacking up if I can help it. So they basically value trade off the flying guy for my Blood Moon Priestess, but they're in a position where they're surrounded by Wraithlings, which can all trade in. So I'm not that worried. I don't mind them getting that trade. They're going to play a Necroseer, which is kind of a big body that I don't have a great... I can't kill it with Wraithlings. I can't kill it with minions right now unless I want to play the Tiger or something, which I don't really want to do because I could play the Tiger and play the Shadow Watcher and have a big Shadow Watcher, but then I'm very vulnerable to Chromatic Hold again, or to a Hailstone, which will return it to my hand. And she has 5 cards in hand, so that's really not the direction I want to go. I want to try to keep more things on the board than just one big minion. So instead I'm going to play the Shadow Dancer, and I can't play anything else with the Shadow Dancer except my Bloodborne spell, but it's a good, if I can get the Shadow Dancer down with a couple minions and get a lot of trades on this turn, I think I'll be in a very good position. So I'm not too unhappy with that, and you'll see that I play her in a defensive position. I don't want her to die. She's kind of a must-kill minion, so I'm going to make her work to kill the minion. I'm not going to make it easy for her, because as long as that Shadow Dancer's up, and I can keep summoning Wraithlings every turn, it's going to be very difficult for her to win any kind of race. So I'm just going to trade off as much as I can, really. And I'm going to get as much value out of the Shadow Dancer as I can by trading. It might be better to leave this Blazehound because she can't kill it in one attack, and it traps her there. But if she has to attack it a second time, she can't move. She'll have to move. She can move as far as she can move right here, right here. So she's still in range of most of my ability to attack. But she actually surprised me with Avalanche, which doesn't see a lot of play, and kills all my minions, stuns my General. She plays a War Master next to me. I'm actually in a pretty bad position after that happens to me. That was really not something I was happy with. I'm able to replace into a Blood Moon Priestess, which is good because it fits the curve with the Saberspine Tiger. And I'm just going to trade with the first half of the War Master. in order to get value out of my Blood Moon Priestess. You basically just want to keep making your cards good. Get as much value out of your cards. I know she's going to trade into this, and I just have to be comfortable with that, because I got 2 Wraithlings, and that was probably the best I could do out of my cards. You're going to be in positions where you don't always have a play that makes you happy, that feels good and feels like you won the trade, but you just have to maximize the amount of value you're getting. Now, she plays a very threatening 4/10, which would be a really big deal if I didn't have some of the cards that I do, and I didn't have the ability to rush it down with the Tiger. This is why Tiger's so good, even though it doesn't synergize that well in this deck. It's just such a strong card for removal and for face damage and for everything. So I'm just going to be trading in all these creatures, or all these minions, and dealing tons of damage with this Shadow Dancer, which is why Shadow Dancer is such a powerful card. And I'm just healing myself up, so I'm just not in danger of burn. I placed Shadow Dancer close to her, which may be a mistake, but it's going to be difficult for her to ever really kill it. We're in a position where she can't attack it with her face anymore, and she can't really rush it down that well. There's not that many rush minions in Vanar. So I'm not really just too nervous. She just plays a Stone Metal Golem, which would normally block this attacking square. I don't know why she moved up, really. I think I would have played more defensive and just try to work me down with this, but I'm able just to Demonic Lore, use that offensively in kind of a weird scenario, and just attack for the win with Shadow Dancer. So this is a pretty good game. It's tough. This deck is a tough deck, and you often have to move around and make, judgment call plays, and I probably made the wrong plays in a lot of scenarios, but if you just keep trying to use the principles of get value out of your cards, you'll often make a play that is good enough and will still let you win. And you'll get better at those judgment calls as you go. I'm S rank, and I'm still not that good at them. This is the 3rd game. This one's actually a really good one. I just played this a few minutes ago. And basically this Lyonar is actually playing some very non-budget cards, some very strong cards that really put me in some very tough positions. And it's difficult to just kind of see the way we work around those in this game. So I'm just opening with a Shiro, Puppy Dragon. It's not getting any value right now, but I want to control this mana tile to try to play this on turn 2. Silverguard Knight's a very common play. You want to know what their common plays are, so you can try to play around them. Now here, there's always the chance of, you can use Wraithling Swarm to get 2 mana tiles, so I could take all the mana tiles this turn, and that might be better. I could make them all 3/2s if I were to move this around to the middle and move this here, but I wouldn't be able to summon this Blood Moon Priestess, which is a very strong card that I want to get on the board so that all the trades will benefit me. And Lyonar doesn't have a great way to kill it outside of something like Martyrdom, so I'm just trying to put them in a position where they don't have... I'm playing around the cards that they have. Now this is an interesting position because you're going to see Grasp of Agony really get a lot of value here. Now this is a situation where I don't know if they should have attacked with this, because it puts this in range that I might be able to kill it. It puts it at 3 health. It's very hard for me to kill this. I don't have any avenues of attack with any of my minions, so putting this at a lower health total allows me to kill it. And since I'm taunted with it, it's doing a great job of controlling the board and holding my general in a position where, frankly, she doesn't want to be. And I'm able to just kind of use a combination of 3 cards to do a lot of clearing of the board right now. So I Demonic Lore this Dolotus into a position such that the Grasp will hit it. And I'm going to attack this Silverguard Knight and then ping it off and get basically 9 damage out of this Grasp of Agony on this creature, and this creature. And then I'm going to get a 3 Wraithlings for all that, which is why you want to develop these Blood Moon Priestess so early, is because then all the other plays are incrementally benefiting you. Now you see here, it's kind of strange that I move my Puppy Dragon away from some of the Wraithlings, which I talked about buffing, to attack this, this Tombstone, which is just a 0/5 provoke. But note that this isn't a structure. This can move, which makes it very powerful. And Lyonar has a card called Divine Bond, which gives, it's 3 mana, and it gives a minion attack, plus attack equal to its health. So if I leave this as a 0/10, Lyonar can make it into a 10/10, which is very threatening especially since we don't have much hard removal or dispel in this deck at all. We basically would have to throw it with the demonic lore or ritual banishing it. So I attack it down to try to play around that, and I end up actually walking into the card Holy Immolation, which is a very, very strong card that Lyonar has access to, and is certainly not a budget card, so you might not be used to seeing it. You might not have it yourself, but if you get the opportunity to play it, definitely do it. And he's able to use his Bloodborne spell on this and make it into a 2/9. So at this point, I honestly considered just conceding. I was really having trouble thinking of a way we win this game. I have one Wraithling, a 1/1 compared to a 2/8. I'm taunted. I'm at 17 life. I'm in a really tough position. And I draw this Void Steel. And I'm thinking, okay, this is the way I can get back in it. This is going to allow me to trade off with a big taunt minion. And I think I actually positioned my Wraithlings wrong. I should have placed them more aggressively, because basically he's going to be able to kill 2 no matter what. And if I place them all around, I can get more value out of the Void Steel. So I'm basically just conceding the fact that 2 of my guys are going to die. I'm just going to have to be fine with that. He's going to attack 1 with his General, 1 with the Tombstone. But I'm going to have to get a good Void Steel and see if I can turn the game that way. So here we do. We can only Void Steel with 2 minions, because that's the only... I can't move my General to even get a 3rd one in there, so I can only get 2 minions around this. But it ends up being quite a big swing anyways, because this will go down to 0 attack, so my minions are going to get the free trade-off on it, and become 4 ones, which is a very strong... a very strong minion. You know, it hits very hard. So I'm going to just use the Grasp of Agony, which basically is just killing this and doing 3 damage to the General. But that's, the Lion can take out 2 Wraithlings with its 2 attacks, its Celerity, which is a very strong ability. So now we're in a situation where we have Soul Shatter Pack. And we're kind of looking at ways that maybe if we get in a scenario, we can just attack. We're going to be able to use the Soul Shatter Pack to just end the game, because we're not going to win on value. Delotus is going to summon another O10, and it's going to be very hard to get through that a second time. We barely got through it the first time. We don't have another Void Steel. So right now, and we drew the card Shadow Watcher. It's not our turn yet, so we don't know exactly what we want to do, but we know that this card probably isn't going to help, because it's going to take 2 turns to get going. One, you play it, and then stack it up. In the second turn, you can attack with it. So there's no board impact on the turn it comes into play. And we think we probably only have 1 more turn. If the game goes longer than 1 turn, it's probably us losing. We can survive for more than 1 turn, but we're probably not winning a longer game. So we're going to replace this almost no matter what, because we know that we can't go on. It's not going to play a part in a game that we win. And we don't care about games that we lose. We only want to construct games that we win. So we're going to see what they play. They have a lot of taunt minions. They have a lot of AoE clear. Another Holy Immolation could just crush us, knock us out of the game. They play an Ironcliff Guardian, which is a huge provoke minion, which is just so problematic for the situation we're in. But he's going down to 7 life. 7 health. So we have an opening. We know that we have an opening. We can't kill them yet. We can only get 3 damage with this. But if we draw, say, a Tiger, a Demonic Lore, a Ritual Banishing, these are our outs. And we actually get the Ritual Banishing, and we combine that with our Soul Shatter Pack to win. So we won against a deck that's had a lot of good answers, that isn't a budget deck, but we were able to use our cards in a way to get good value and to play to the scenarios that we win. We didn't worry about games that we weren't going to win. We just said, this is the narrative for how we win the game. How do I walk along that path in terms of my place? And we got there, which is really cool. It's really cool to beat decks that you might feel outmatched against. So, this was a good game.